Bright Duty. Every student matters.
Good morning. This is the last video of this particular chapter, chapter 2. Increase in militant behavior and continuation of disruptive behavior. First of all, it's very important for us to understand that when in a particular nation there is decreasing patriotism, as well as there is increasing levels of corruption at the administrative level, we can say that this is, rising forces which are anti-national in nature, or this is militant behavior which is increasing. So it's very wrong for a nation, it's very harmful for a nation if there is a decrease in patriotism and if there is an increase at the corruption level. There are certain movements which are emerging, which are socio-economic movements or cultural separation movements. So you might have observed that, many a times in nations, socio-economic movements start where one section of society, at the social level or at the economic level want to, separate from other people and want to talk about their own particular section of society. Or if there is a cultural separation movement where people of one culture get together and they say that, we are one group and people from other sections of society or other cultures are the out group. So you might have heard about this in-groupism and out-groupism. So cultural separation movements where people from one culture want to establish, that we need one separate state because we are people who are very similar in nature. So all these kind of separatist movements, be it at the socio-economic level, the social norms are similar, therefore we want to be, one section of society and we want to be separated. Or at the economic front, that we are people who are, from the higher rung of society in terms of finance, so therefore we should be, made separate. Or at the cultural front, we have a similar culture, so we should be given a separate state altogether. These are separatist movements and they are very harmful in nature. They are actually a major danger against national integration. Another important term is linguism. So linguism is actually a hatred or ill feelings that you have toward people who speak a language which is different than your own language. So this is against brotherhood and it is totally against peace. It must be avoided at every level, and political administration and parties also try and avoid, as much as possible, try and suppress these kind of linguism movements. All these things that I have discussed with you till now in this particular slide, they are all illogical in nature. So as much as possible, it is important that they must be opposed and avoided. And if they are, emerging, they must be suppressed. Education. Now, if there are educated minds, you will observe that educated people usually do not want to be a part of these kind of movements. Why? Because education makes you think logically, make you think rationally. It, makes you think in this manner that there is nothing which is going to come out of these kind of movements or corruption, etc. It teaches you fairness. It teaches you how to, treat everybody at power. So education, therefore, is very important. Education, therefore, is also very important in terms when we talk about national integration and when we talk about, having youth which is going to oppose corruption, which is going to oppose any kind of disruptive forces. Logical thinking, therefore, make you respect other people, be it from any particular region or any language that they speak. It helps you to understand other people. It helps you to understand their perspective, their approach towards life, their philosophy of life. It helps you to understand that everybody, is similar. Be it a different language, be it a different language, or you can say that, they dress up in a different manner, they speak a different dialect, but they are all similar at heart. It teaches you how to respect cultural language, religion. It teaches you how to respect caste differences. Disruptive behavior is therefore totally against national integration. Party politics. When we talk about party politics, we talk about political games which are played by different political parties for their own particular interest, especially to gain votes. That is something which is harmful for national integration. So you might have observed many a times that, political parties, they promise that we will do this for you, we will uplift this particular section of society, we will, let you have another state of your own, a separate state if you vote us to power. So all these things are very harmful in terms of maintaining national integration. Moving on to the next part, which is regional imbalance. So many a times we observe that there is a regional imbalance in terms of difference in standard of living. So you might have observed that there are some cities or some states which are having a very high standard of living, and on the other side there are some places which are having very low standard of living, and they are also very short in terms of developmental opportunities. All these things can give rise to or are responsible for disintegration. So regional disparities, they divide the nation into zones of prosperity and poverty. So because of this, what happens is that there are certain states or cities which are very high in terms of prosperity, very prosperous places. And there are some places or some regions which are, poverty stricken. All this is again against national integration. Now, when we talk about different methods which can actually be adopted in order to achieve national integration, one such method is education. Education helps to develop a feeling of oneness in people. Oneness among youth, oneness among students, that all of us, even though we are coming from different sections of society, different rungs of society, I am from maybe one section of society which is maybe the highest section of society in terms of financial matters, and I sit with somebody who is, who is maybe, having a poor background, humble background, but all of us are same. We are all same. It's just that, he was not given all the opportunities maybe which I have by chance. I'm lucky to have them. So it's actually a feeling of oneness which is inculcated through education among students. Emotional connection, a bond develops, especially when, students sit together, they talk to each other, they understand different cultures, that, so and so person in my class is coming from a different culture, and this is what is practiced in their culture. These are the rituals which are practiced. This is what they worship. This is what they believe in. This is what they think. So these are their opinions. This is how they dress up. This is the food style. These are the habits that they have. This is their lifestyle. So it's very good to understand all that, and then you tend to respect all that. You tend to respect the diversity which India is so proud of. So there is an emotional connection, a bond which is formed, and it leads to the we feeling. So it's not about in-groupism and out-groupism within India. It's all about in-groupism within India, which is all of us, all the citizens in India are one group. They are one together. So it's a we feeling in terms of all the citizens of India. Third method to achieve national integration is exchange of ideas among students and teachers for nation building. So brainstorming can happen where, if there is a will between students and teachers to think about strategies which can actually help to increase the nation building process and actually can contribute to national integration. So students and teachers can think about it. They can come up with ways. You can also have interstate cultural camps of students and teachers where, students and teachers visit other states and other regions, and then they attend all those cultural camps and they understand about this different culture, about a different region altogether, and then they tend to get to know about the historical background, how all this emerged, how all this evolved, and the factors which contribute to that. All of these things. So interstate cultural camps is a very good idea, and a lot of schools practice that. So all these kind of things must be promoted. Constitutional safeguards is another method. Our constitution, if you do not follow the constitution, if you do not respect our constitution, then you have certain strict actions which can be taken against you. You can be penalized in a number of ways. So constitutional safeguards for maintaining national unity and emotional integrity, we have them, within our Indian constitution. Next is government as well as non-government agencies should foster human values of secularism. That is, every religion must be respected. So values of secularism through quality education can actually be imparted to students. Seventh is reform the curriculum in the light of national need. So we understand that it is need of our nation that the integration must be maintained, it must be promoted. So in light of that, the curriculum can be remodified, it can be, revisited. So those chapters which are trying to create some kind of, disruption in our nation, those kind of chapters can be removed, and those kind of chapters which actually promotes national integration, they must be retained and taught to the students. Next is promotion of co-curricular activities as well as cultural integration. So you can have, interstate quiz competitions, intercultural competitions. You can have different kind of festivals happening where, students from one school visit a student from, in some other state or city, and then they together have certain kind of competitions or debates or declamations or some kind of fest. Respect for others and for the national flag, national anthem, that must be the motto of school education. So these are things that should be taught from, the early classes onwards. So since when your formal education begins, especially national anthem must be taught to the students from the beginning years itself. Next is promote cooperation and peaceful coexistence and introduce national integration to bring oneness in every aspect of the diverse culture of India. So some kind of strategic activities which, inculcate feelings of cooperation between the students and as well as peaceful coexistence. So give them, mock activities where the students learn how important it is to cooperate with each and every person in the particular group or patch. Those kind of mock activities can actually be practiced within the class itself. So mottos such as live and let live, respect and get respect. These should be the motto of educated citizens. They must be taught to students from the beginning itself, and it's important that all of the students and all the youth follow it.